Blackstone Audiobooks presents How to Watch TV News by Neil Postman and Steve Powers. Preface. This book was written by two men who have different kinds of knowledge about television, but whose point of view is similar. Without the similarity, we would not be of interest to each other. Without the differences, we probably would not be of interest to the reader. One of us, Neil Postman, is an academic who has written books on the effects of media and especially on how television has altered various forms of social life. Although he once had a television show of his own, 48 half-hour programs under the aegis of Sunrise Semester, he is not skilled in the art of using television as a medium of communication. The other, Steve Powers, is a television journalist. He has a PhD in media studies, but has spent most of his professional life as a practitioner of both radio and television journalism. Postman's head is filled with theories, historical knowledge, and visions of what an awesome technology like television ought to do for a culture. Powers' head is filled with practical knowledge of what television in fact does, how it does it, and what it can do. We came to the conclusion some years ago that what television news says it is presenting and what it actually delivers are two different things. We concluded that a tidy and truthful book on how people should prepare themselves to interpret a television news show might be useful. The book at hand is the result. Before saying anything else on the matter, we need to remark here that anyone who is not an avid reader of newspapers, magazines, and books is by definition unprepared to watch a television news show, and will always be. This point has been made many times, with special force, by such television journalists as Walter Cronkite, Bill Moyers, and Robert McNeil. Anyone who relies exclusively on television for his or her knowledge of the world is making a serious mistake. Just as television can show things about the world that are not possible to experience through print, print can reveal complexities and facts that are not possible to show on television. Therefore, those who have not read about the world are limited in their capacity to understand what is seen on television. As an example, consider television's presentation of the uprising by Chinese students in Tiananmen Square. Anyone who watched diligently will never forget the image of a solitary student standing in front of a tank, obstructing it from proceeding. Mao Zedong preached that power begins behind the barrel of a gun. But this image, as media critic Jay Rosen once remarked, seemed to suggest that power also comes to those who face the barrel of a gun, provided that a camera catches them in the act, and that the image is witnessed by a vast audience. It was television journalism at its best. But if that is all someone knew about the student uprising, it wouldn't be very much. One would have to know something about who rules in China, and where these rulers came from, and by what authority or ideology they claimed to rule, and how the students interpreted the meaning of freedom and democracy. These are complex matters that are beyond the scope of simple television newscasts, and must be learned through extensive reading of newspapers and books. And so, the first lesson we have to teach is that preparation for watching a television news show begins with the preparation of one's mind through extensive reading. This lesson is of sufficient importance that we have seen fit to include it in our introduction. Having made this essential point, we will now turn our attention to all the others.